different books. I started out, my first love is historical romances. And I really thought I was going to be a romance writer, but then I started writing contemporary books, and I decided I like to blow things up and kill people. So that has probably been my MO for a dozen or so books, is to, write a lot. I write some romance along the way, but I do a lot of blowing things up and killing people. So that is my big thing. When I decided to go back to my first love of writing historical, I thought I would try mystery instead. And I had a lot of fun with this. My husband had a grandfather who was in a Wild West show, and he your father, is that correct? Was in a Wild West show, and David had a whip that belonged to him, and he did an act where he would flip quarters out of the air with that whip. Cool. Well, of course, when we lost our home to the fire, we lost a lot of our memorabilia, and that was one of the things we lost. And I told him that one of these days I was going to write a story, and that was going to be in it. So in How to Sabotage a Wild West Show, there's actually a scene in there where the father is doing a trick, and he flicks the whip and knocks quarters out of the air with the whip. So I had to share that part of how we got started with this. My books are set in the Victorian era, and How to Murder is the second book in the series, and we have several dukes that have already started dying off, and we have the third duke who is already sick and dying, and Winnie, my main character, is a healer as well as a performer in the Wild West show. And so she is trying to figure out why he is dying. And of course, arsenic is everywhere. And I didn't have to think very hard to choose arsenic as my poison, because arsenic was used in everything. I mean, not just to kill rats and rodents and stuff. It was also used in their beauty makeup. And John, I know that you really like beauty, but I don't think even you would want to be pale and thin to the point that you would use wafers of arsenic to be pale and thin. I mean, I'm just saying, those of us with our gray hair, we would continue to be gray-headed, because I don't think we would want to put kerosene on our head, especially around open flames.
Right, and they had all those candles.
Oh, yeah, and gas lamps and stuff. I'm just saying, of course, being a human torch was not the only way women died back then. Their outfits would even kill them, the Sheely green was one of the most popular colors at that time, loaded with arsenic. They used a copper salt to make it so pretty, which was, nothing but arsenic, So you could be beautiful and die. But hey, anything for beauty, right?
It's still the case today.
Oh yeah, but it was even on your wallpaper, your carpet. Right. So the fact that we're still here at the Victorian era is amazing. I'm just saying, we had to be some strong folks, and let's just say, you've heard of the Mad Hatter?
Yes.
Yes. Well, there's a reason why. There's a reason why the Hatters went mad. They use mercury.
Oh,
to make the felt stiff and everything. Yeah. And so after you play around with that mercury a few times, we all get a little mad.
Right.
So, like I said, it's a wonder that any of us survived, any of our ancestors survived to even have children. So, I'm definitely glad that I would have been a bride and not a groom at that time, because can you imagine having to wear a mercury-loaded hat, but you want things to be stiff when you're wedding night.
I know. Right.
What can I say? They also use mercury for other things like STDs. Yeah. So the Victorian
I'll
era,
take care of it.
they really believed that, being promiscuous would kill you. And it would, literally. The medicine would kill you. So,
Even when our kids were young, they had, mercury loaded thermometers.
yeah. So mercury has its places. I mean, mercury's a great thing because it can test the temperature. It's very accurate in test the temperature, but it will kill you. You break that thermometer at the wrong time, and yeah. So, but mercury was used to make hats up until the 1940s. I want y'all to think about that. But between the medical knowledge, the proper hygiene, nutrition, and all of that, it's a wonder any of us were even born. And then after you were born, you had lead-painted cribs, lead-painted toys, and if you started crying because you were teething, the doctor was probably going to give you something with opium in it, laudanum, so we have a bunch of little druggies running around. We talk about the drug use today. The Victorian era, they were selling it right there on the street. You could buy it from the local CVS, right down the corner, even at Pop Shop. Coca-Cola had real opium in it, real Coca-Cola in it. Yeah, Dr. Pepper. So, when we think about things today, and if the machinery didn't get you and the drugs didn't get you, you can live to the ripe old age of 50. How many of y'all are 50?
That's way behind.
Yeah, I've got a birthday this month. Guess how old I'll be? I'll be 60. Yeah.
Oh, you wanna make some?
I've been ancient at that time.
You
So,
the same age as my children.
yeah. So, it's a lot to think about when you think about the Victorian era. So, if you're interested in learning a little bit about the Victorian era and having a little fun while you're doing it, this one talks about leaving America and the Wild West show and being part of a traveling show. When I was doing research for it, I did a lot of research for Garden Daily and the different traveling shows and Buffalo Bill, Wild Bill Cody's Wild West show and everything. And then when I did this story and everything, I actually sent for a book from Somerset, England. And that's so neat to see, the different places. And they had pictures from the 1900s and stuff. I wish I had brought that with me. I should have. So it's so much fun to do the research. And of course, if you do YouTube, I love to do YouTube. And some of the things that they have on there are hilarious about the Victorian era. And it's like I said, it's just amazing that any of us survived to be here, So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And the tea that we're getting now is blackberry tea, and that goes back to my character Winnie coming from the United States. It would have been brambleberry if you had it in England, and then the blackberry scones because of being in Victorian England, and I have an herb cheese bread with blackberry jam to make it more Victorian. So
But you didn't put any arsenic in
I did,
Right.
maybe. Depends on who gets it.
She's very authentic.
But I even have some little vials that I've done up with pretend pill poison in it, and I've got a horse on this one and a book on the other one, because she writes journal with her medicine and stuff.